Good morning, people. Welcome to another episode of Read Along with Pranks with Mr. Anurag Anand. Today, we are going to discuss with him the most interesting topic that finds its place in every tea parties, kitty parties, to a high powered business meeting. Yes, it's about politics and politicians. They surely have some place in our life and affect our life very, very effectively. So, in his book, in his 12th book, Mr. Anurag has really described the political scenario of India to the T. His book, The Assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, a political thriller, is a true thrilling book. It has a lot of mysteries that is still not unfolded for me. I have a lot of questions to ask you, Mr. Anurag, and I'm looking forward for this power-packed discussions. Your debates at CNBC have really inspired me to work a little more harder because I know you are an amazing speaker and bring interesting facts on the platform. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Anurag.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for having me here. And it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to the discussion and the grilling that you've planned for me. So over to you.
I think I cannot grill you, but let's start. So, this book is an work of imagination. No resemblance to any person, place, or event is highly fictional. Do you believe that this book, if an reader finds a connect or resemblance to any politician, political scenario, is intentional? Because I do find somewhere there are some intentional connects. If yes, please elaborate.
Okay, so the short answer to that is there's no intentional resemblance that has been created, and that's why the disclaimer is there for. Uh, However, fiction more often than not, and especially when you're talking about slice of life or contemporary fiction, uh, a story that is set in a world that we are used to living, it does draw from reality to quite an extent. So while you might not have a specific politician portrayed as a primary character in the book exactly as he or she is, but you would have traces of people that you see around, that you notice uh, inadvertently seeping into the characters that you read about in the book. So it's very natural, I would say, and that's what I guess makes the story that much more engaging, because you know that, oh yeah, this is something that happens. There are people who do this. So that's the idea. It's about keeping it relatable, at the same time not getting into a space where you're just picking up real life character and putting them inside your book. So that's the intent there.
India and Indians have two passions, cricket and politics. And politics is one topic that finds its place in every chai pe charcha. So, and it also arouses very strong emotion of love and hate. You know, either you hate a politician or you party, or you love a political party or a politician. So, do you think these politicians and political parties use this emotion of a common man to achieve their interior motive of gains to win, or it is the reason why they lose?
See, I would say not only politicians but all of us. It's human nature. Greed is a very integral part of human nature, and you want to accumulate whatever that you can. For some people, you have your value system, your integrity that defines what you do to get what you want. For some, the parameters might be really high. For others, it might be slipping down there. So it's not about politicians or any one profession per se. I think it's a part of the regular human nature. We all think like that. However, what I would say is that I'll touch upon the point that you first made, that you started your question with. that politics incites a lot of passions. We Indians are passionate, and either there is a strong degree of hate or total affiliation for a given political party or an ideology or a political personality, which is unfortunate because cliched as it may sound, but the very core of democracy is that it is us, you and me, the people, who elect our representatives. And it is our job to hold them accountable. And to hold anybody accountable, you need to be objective while you're looking at what they're doing. It's almost like a class teacher. A class teacher has a group of 30, 40 students that she's dealing with. The minute she lets her emotions come in the way, she's not being objective to the entire student population. She has to
Correct.
look at each child objectively and then figure out what are the interventions required where, reprimand them if needed. That's our job, and we are not doing it. We are getting swayed by our emotions, building allegiances, getting into almost worshipping politicians, which is uncalled for. There is a politician, he's a human being. He can be right on a few things, he can be wrong on a few things. But we just get so emotionally moved that even so I see, and I'm sure you do too, in your WhatsApp groups, there are some 30, 40, 50 friends with different ideologies. And once a debate starts, it almost becomes violent, which is tragic, I would say. It's what politicians do is best left to them, but we as a people, there's a lot for us to do to hold them accountable as well.
So I think because of the strong emotions, also we make wrong choices. And that is why somewhere our emotions are used by them. And we have to check on it, how we use these emotions.
Again,
Uh,
philosophically, Priyanka, what is the wrong choice? Uh,
yeah,
it's a choice.
yes.
Your right choice might be a wrong choice for me, and vice versa. But we need to be objective. We need to see why we voted for a particular party, a particular person. Am I getting that? If they're wrong somewhere, can I raise my voice to course correct? So those are the spaces that we need to operate in, and we are right now operating on the fringes.
So another question that is very much true with politics, and I hope you somewhere have written it also in your book, that there is no permanent friend or foe in politics. Do you agree with this, what you have written in your book, or is just a art work of imagination?
No, no, I firmly believe in what I've written in the book. And it's not just for me to say, it's for all of us to see. Politics and power has been tragically made into a game of convenience. So ideology often takes a backseat, and it is about the mechanics that can get an individual or a party or a group of people in power that supersedes ideology when it comes to alliances. And we've seen, I won't want to get into specifics, but we've seen parties with the rightmost ideology uh, going hand in hand with parties with the leftmost ideologies and so on and so forth. So that's the spectrum, and you see all kinds of mishmash in between. So it is, unfortunately, it has been made into a game of convenience. In the end, it's about getting the numbers together to form a government, and that's the reality of it.
And it's a normal thing when you see a politician changing a party every election. And nowadays we don't even feel shocked or surprised when this happens.
Yeah, true. So it's again, I would refrain from blaming politicians, because for somebody, it's a function of how they are looking at politics. For some, it might be a cause to do, or a platform to do social good, to work for the people, while for others, it might be a simple career choice. And where it is a career choice, I work in the corporate sector. I have changed X number of jobs. I think about myself when I'm changing the job. So
But a job,
if there's somebody, yeah,
but
Sure.
a,
Yeah.
a but,
Go on,
but
Priyanka.
a but a job and politics is two different things. Yes, I understand politics is a kind of a job, but they get into it out of passion. But then it becomes the power game and a greed.
Agreed. So that's what I'm saying, Priyanka. It's up to why the person has gotten into politics. As you said, for somebody, it might be passion, pure passion, and the zeal to do good work for their people. You have politicians in that space who stick to their ideology, who do not get into opportunistic maneuvers to sort of get into power. You have people like that. But at the same time, you also have people who have come into politics as a profession. And there, obviously, they'll look at opportunities. What is it that takes them ahead from where they are today? And in that space, it becomes a very natural move to hop from one party to the other wherever you see more opportunities. So that's unfortunately a reality of today.
So, to go further with this topic of our discussion, you've mentioned in the book that politics is a thankless job. But I do not agree here. I feel that politics or politicians get enough in form of kind or power or even glamour today that they have from the people. So, do you agree with today's scenario that politics is no more a thankless job?
There are different dimensions to the statement. One dimension, of course, and I'll just take a segue from what we were discussing. So there are people who are in this uh, for the welfare of the society to work for people. And if you look at the kind of work that they do, the kind of efforts that they put in, it is thankless because for them, um, they're constantly under public scrutiny. Everything that they do is interpreted and at times misinterpreted. So imagine a situation where you or I are there trying to do good, and you suddenly have all these raucous news channels picking up a sentence that you've said somewhere, targeting you on social media, targeting your dear ones. It just gets into a space where I would like to believe that you one would feel as to why am I here. So that's one dimension. People who are there for the good, who are not trying to misuse the power that they have, the plank that they have for commercial and other benefits. In their case, the public scrutiny, the brickbats still remain. So in that case, it becomes a bit of a thankless job. The second also is that even others. The second aspect, the dimension that I was talking about, is what is it that is important for you. So commercial benefits or power is one part, but to get that, there's a lot that you end up losing as well. We've seen political families, multiple members being assassinated in a political family. You're putting yourself out there. So not just in the public eyes where you're being scrutinized, everything that you do, your vacations are being scrutinized, whatever you do is being spoken about on national television. That's one. You're also risking your life because uh, if you are taking a stand on something, you will definitely have people out there who are not in agreement with it. And depending on how violently they object to your stand, you're actually risking quite a bit out there. So, in a lot of ways, yes, you're right. In general, uh, if we look at the grass from the other side, it seems completely green, but there are patches of brown in between for sure.
Uh, to add on, I would like to hear more from you when I ask you that one fish spoils the whole pond. This also seems to stand true with political world. Do you think a politician needs to find a corrupt way to gain power or do something right? He needs to find the wrong path to do something right, which is said that a politician needs to do.
Uh, Again, so not really, because you have people in politics who've grown through the ranks who might have done something wrong. I don't know. But at least from where I see it, as a member of the public, I don't see them really stretching or crossing the boundaries very often. So for me, they are good people, and they, they have created an impact in the field of politics. So there are people like that. So it's about what you choose to do. Of course, taking shortcuts, choosing the easy way, obviously has immediate gains. You progress much faster initially, and that's a lure that many fall in the trap of. But over a period of time, in the long run, is that the right thing to do? Is that something that you want to live with? Is that something that your conscience allows you to do? Is again a decision that's left for the individual to make. And as I said, like, there are people who've stuck to their conscience, who've made it big, and who've written their names in the pages of history.
I agree with you. So totally a different outlook to world of politics, Anurag. Thank you so much. My last question to you: what inspired you to write this book? Was it a politician, politics, or today's political scenario, which is actually very interesting and brings about many curious eyes to know what is going on inside? So, what was your inspiration to write the assassination of Rajat Gandhi?
Right. So politics is like an onion. The more you peel it, the more layers and of different shades, different hues that come out. So it's something like that in my eye. Now, what happens is, as you began the conversation by saying, we Indians are all touched by politics in some form or the other. So we talk about politics, we discuss politics, we watch politicians, uh, we might know people in our families, distant families, who are somehow or the other connected to the world of politics.
Yeah.
So it's something that is fascinating for us all. Now, there are a number of things over and above the surface where you see parties clamoring for power, canvassing, campaigning, trying to woo voters. Below that, there's a lot of machinations that happen, which the normal public does not come to know about. You hear rumors if you're moving around in those circles. You hear rumors, you hear about things, but they're not out there in the open. They're not reported. And then as you keep going deeper, it's like a layered story. So you actually think that this has happened because the simplistic explanation to it is because somebody wanted this, so this was
Yes.
orchestrated. However, when you look deeper, there might be somebody else sitting somewhere else pulling the strings for some much larger benefit there. And that's something, those dots are very difficult for us to connect as people who are outside the political system. So this story, if you see, and I understand that you've started reading it, as it will unfold, you will see that the direction that you were perhaps assuming that the story is unfolding in, it will suddenly twist to a different direction, and that will also make sense. So that's the beauty of politics, and that's what inspired me to pick up this subject and sort of write on it. And of course, it allows you to play with your characters. It's like a clean canvas, and you have jars of paint to splatter on it, and then it's a delight for an author.
And I must tell you, Anurag, I finished the book and still there are a lot of questions, lot of curious mysteries that are still to be unveiled for me. And I think just one interview with is not enough with for me to ask you all these questions. Uh, and I would ask all the listeners to go pick up this book. It is truly a mysterious book till the end. And after the end, you're left with so many questions that you would surely write to Anurag and ask a lot of questions to him.
So
So,
thank you so much, Priyanka, and I'm glad you liked the book, and I'm glad you requested your listeners to pick it up too. And yes, so one fallacy before we move on, that people hold is that authors are again there's somebody sitting in a distant space writing something which we pick up in a bookstore or online. We love the opinion of our readers. I would love to engage with all of you who read my book. Any questions that you have, I'm there all over social media on all the platforms. Please do reach out. I would love to answer and respond to as many messages as possible. So
And
just wanted to make
I
statement. Yeah.
truly have had amazing experiences with all the authors that have interacted, and you all have been so kind to be here on my platform or to answer to any questions that my listeners have. So I think it's just an encouragement to the authors to write more for us. So I'm so happy that you were
Thank you so
able to
much. Thank you,
be
Priyanka.
here with us. So now after a heated discussion, one fun part to my session is the rapid fire round, where I will ask you just 5 questions and you have to answer me without thinking, just in a fraction of a second. Are we ready,
Sure. Do we
Anurag?
get a hamper at the end also?
I will surely send you one. Okay. So if if in the morning you get up and you look at yourself and you find yourself as a politician, who would it be?
Not thinking is difficult, but in the current day and age, Jyotiraditya Scindia.
Oh wow, he is my first love. I really love him. uh, and I feel
Yeah,
bad he
he's a
left.
complete politician. I believe I've had the pleasure of listening to him in a couple of conferences. He's extremely articulate, and I think there's a lot of weight from where his words come from. So that makes him a special politician. Yes.
Just giving a spoiler to the people, I find a lot of qualities of Jyotiraditya in some of the politicians that you have used in your book.
Nothing intentional, Priyanka. Nothing intentional.
I totally agree, but it does happen when you admire a politician. And I did admire his father, Madharav Sindhya, also a lot. Um, Politics arouses a emotion of love or hate in Anurag.
Indifference, love or hate, as we spoke about it, there are two ends of the spectrum, and it is wrong to operate on either of them. Politics is something that we have to engage with, and I would, to the extent possible, want to engage rationally with the world of politics to the extent that I can.
That was a duck. Okay. Politician you follow or stop?
Follow or stalk, not really, but if the reference is to a politician that is pleasing to the eye, I quite admire Nupur Sharma. She's again
A great
pretty
politician.
articulate. Incidentally, we went to the same school, so that adds to the linkage or attachment somewhere. So yeah, Nupur Sharma, I would say.
Politicians make a great actor or actors make a great politician. Which of the statements stands true?
Actors make great politicians. Like the simplistic answer to that would be actors make great politicians because one of the core competencies of politics is to act and then play to the galleries that you're addressing. So yeah, I would stick with that.
Okay, great. And the last question for today is the assassination of Rajat Gandhi is a story of
Of politics, the fiction of a fictional world of politics where a lot happens, unimaginable things happen, taking you on a exciting roller coaster ride.
So thank you, Anurag, for being with us. It was truly an interesting and insightful conversation with you. I have learned a lot different side of politics talking to you, but still the mystery remains the same. Who is this story about? The assassination of Rajat Gandhi is about the story of whom? So I leave it to the readers to go pick up this book and tell me, who do you think this book is all about? And tell me whether the world of politics is glamorous or a thankless job. Thank you so much for listening to us till the end. Thank you, Anurag, for being with us. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as you enjoyed the CNBC debates. Uh, Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Priyanka. It was super fun, and thank you to all your viewers and listeners. It's been a pleasure.
Listeners, don't forget to buy the copy of uh, The Assassination of Rajat Gandhi, which is available on Amazon and on the site of Readomania, the link of which will be given below. And don't forget to subscribe to Read Along with Pranks, like it, share it, and please comment to the questions we have asked. Thank you so much.